They didn't even call me. They left a note on the hotel room table, weddings OFF. Expect a call from our lawyer. That was how my parents decided to cancel my wedding. No explanation. No goodbye. Just a piece of paper and silence that tore through my soul. 4 years of love, 2 families planning together, and overnight, gone. If that hit you like a punch in the gut, hit subscribe, share, and stay with me, because what happened in the next 48 hours had lawyers crying, secrets exploding, and my parents begging for mercy. I was sitting on the floor in my bridal robe when I saw the note. My hands trembled as I picked it up, thinking it was a sweet message or a last-minute change in plan. But no. It was like someone had slapped me across the face with words, weddings off. Expect a call from our lawyer. I called them. Both phones, off. I called my fiancé, Ryan. Voicemail. No one was picking up. It felt like the world was collapsing in slow motion, and I couldn't scream loud enough for anyone to hear me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept refreshing my phone, waiting for something. But all I got was an email from Ryan's mother. Please respect our decision. This is bigger than you realize. Bigger than me? I was the one left humiliated. I had 140 guests flying in, thousands spent on decorations, my dress hanging uselessly like a ghost in the closet. And still, nobody had the guts to tell me why, but I wasn't going to sit there and cry forever. My name is Stella. And while they thought they broke me, what they really did was unleash me. I started digging. I called vendors, I checked messages. I reviewed every strange conversation I'd had in the past 3 months. There had to be a reason. Something they were hiding. Then I found in an old shared folder from our wedding planner. There was a document, accidentally uploaded. It was titled, Postmarital Asset Strategy, Protecting Inheritance. I opened it. Page after page of legal instructions on how to separate my name from Ryan's finances after the wedding, how to isolate Stella's contributions, how to remove me from property ownership in the event of a separation. My heart stopped. It wasn't a wedding. It was a setup, and the worst part. My parents were in on it. Their signatures were all over the paperwork, helping Ryan's family draw up agreements against me. They were ready to hand me over like a business transaction. But something went wrong. Maybe someone had second thoughts. Maybe someone knew I was about to discover the truth, and now? Now, I wasn't the sad bride-to-be. I was the woman holding a storm in her hands. 48 hours later, their lawyer was at my door, face pale, voice shaking. Stella, we need to talk. Please. Don't release that file. You don't understand what's at stake. I looked him dead in the eyes. Oh, I understand. And now, you're going to understand what happens when you try to betray the wrong woman. You don't want to make this public, the lawyer stammered, sweat forming on his brow. It'll destroy everything. Reputations, legacies, even Ryan's career. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Reputations? Careers? Funny how suddenly everyone cared, now that I held the upper hand. Was that note your idea? I asked him, my voice sharp and calm. Or did my parents write it themselves before they helped sell me off like a pawn? He opened his mouth. Then closed it. Guilt oozed off him like oil. I didn't invite him in. Instead, I pulled out my phone, tapped once, and played a voice recording I'd found in a deleted voicemail from my mom's phone, one I had backed up months ago by accident. Her voice crackled through the speaker. Once the wedding's over, we'll make sure she signs everything. She won't even notice. Ryan just has to keep her distracted until the papers are in. The lawyer's face turned gray. You recorded that? He whispered. I smiled coldly. I didn't have to. My mom was careless. For years, I'd been the one they all dismissed. The artist, the dreamer, the girl who painted instead of going to law school, who sold custom shoes online while her sister became a surgeon. My parents never introduced me as Stella, our daughter, just Stella, the creative one. She's still figuring things out, but what they didn't know was I had built a 6-figure custom sneaker brand, partnered with influencers, and had a silent investor from LA, who also happened to be a private equity shark. He taught me a few things, including how to protect my IP, trace document histories, and dig real deep when betrayal smells expensive. I was never their pawn. I was the queen they underestimated. The day after the lawyer showed up, I called a family meeting. Not a humble one. A summons. At my penthouse office, the one none of them knew I had. Ryan, his parents, my mom, my dad, all walked in, whispering. Confused. The tension was a noose tightening around every neck. My dad tried to speak first. Stella, honey, I held up a hand. Don't, honey, me. Then I turned on the big screen behind me and hit play. Emails. Voicemails. Legal. Drafts. Financial trails, all connecting them, all proving the deal they tried to make with my life. Ryan's mother gasped. Ryan's father buried his face in his hands. But Ryan? He just stood there, blank, until I played the final voice memo. The one where he said, once I get her to sign the postnup, we'll slowly edge her out. She's too emotional to notice. Anyway. My hands were shaking. But my voice? Solid steel. So, was I too emotional to notice this? Ryan looked stunned, silent. His mother reached for my hand. Stella, please, we didn't mean, you meant every line of it, I cut in. You all played me. But you forgot something. They stared. I own the venue. I paid for the wedding. I paid the caterer. The dress. The PR firm. The videographer. You didn't cancel anything. I slid a file across the table. I did. Ryan flipped it open, his face twisted as he read the contract termination letters and press release statements. I canceled the wedding. I made the calls. And I told every outlet why. What did you tell them? My mother croaked. I looked straight at her, that I walked away from a $30 million marriage trap with my name, dignity, and empire intact. And that I'm just getting started. The silence was crushing. But I wasn't done yet, because what came next would make this look like a warm-up act. Ryan lunged forward, eyes wide. You ruined us, he shouted, veins popping in his neck. You told the press? You think people will believe you over us? I didn't flinch. I had waited years for this moment. I didn't tell them, I replied calmly. I showed them. Behind me, the big screen flicked to a new slide, photos of the documents, audio clips, timestamped evidence. It was all scheduled to go live in a major exposé with a business news site that had millions of followers. And the headline, she was just the bride, until she revealed their $30 million betrayal. Ryan's father stood up, his voice trembling. You don't know what you're doing. We have lawyers, investors, and I have every email that shows you were trying to defraud me, I cut in. You'll be lucky if you don't end up in court. My parents look like ghosts. My mom kept blinking like this was some kind of nightmare she could shake off. My dad just sat there, jaw clenched, gripping the armrest so tight his knuckles turned white. Stella, my mom whispered finally. We only wanted to protect you. I laughed, a bitter, sharp sound. Protect me? From what? Owning my own life? From having a fair partnership? You didn't want to protect me. You wanted to control me. She tried to speak again, but I cut her off. You've done it my whole life. Remember when you told me painting wasn't a real job? When you laughed in front of Aunt Lydia because I delivered shoes to celebrities but didn't go to grad school? Or when you said, just marry someone rich, Stella. That's more stable. You made me feel small for chasing my dreams. But here's the truth, I turned slowly, locking eyes with each of them. I didn't need to marry into wealth. I built it. Then I walked to the window of my office, 15 floors above the city, and pulled open the blinds. Below, banners flapped outside the sneaker flagship store I'd opened quietly last year. A massive mural covered one entire building wall. Stella's Revenge, the bride who refused to be bought. Ryan's jaw dropped. This isn't just about me anymore, I said. It's about every woman who was told she wasn't enough. Unless she attached herself to a man. Every girl who got laughed at for her passion. Every daughter who was told to stay quiet and look pretty. My dad stood up now, red-faced. You're embarrassing us. I turned, fire in my chest. No. You embarrassed me. And now? I'm just returning the favor, publicly. The lawyer, still sitting silently in the corner, finally spoke up. Stella, we can negotiate. If you just pull the story, I leaned forward. There's no negotiation. Not anymore. And just like that, I walked out of the room, leaving them in stunned silence, as the phones in their pockets started buzzing one by one. News alerts. Headlines. Social media tags. The world now knew, and it was only day one. Because I had one final surprise they hadn't seen coming. I didn't just cancel the wedding. I had already replaced it. The next morning, as headlines blazed across every screen and Ryan's family scrambled to manage the fallout, I was standing in the center of a sunlit courtyard, surrounded by cameras, reporters, influencers, and my real circle. But this wasn't a press conference. It was a launch party, not just for my sneaker brand's newest luxury line, but for a documentary series deal I had quietly inked with a major streaming platform 2 months earlier. The title? Unbought, The Bride Who Broke the Deal. Yeah. That bride was me. A reporter pushed through the crowd. Stella, is it true your parents were involved in the prenup scam? I looked her straight in the eye and nodded, yes. But this isn't just about a prenup. It's about power. About the people who smile to your face while planning your downfall behind your back. My voice didn't shake. Not anymore, because the girl they tried to use had become the woman they had to answer to inside the venue. A giant video screen played footage, not of my cancelled wedding, but of behind-the-scenes clips of my journey, late nights painting shoes, packing boxes in a tiny apartment, crying alone when orders didn't come in. Building from nothing while they all rolled their eyes and told me to get a real job. My favorite part? A video montage of celebrity clients wearing my sneakers, from NBA stars to Hollywood actresses, all sharing the same hashtag #StellaSnotYourPawn. I wasn't hiding anymore. I was owning everything they tried to bury. Back at home, my mom tried to call. Then she tried again. And again. I didn't answer. My mom finally texted, Stella, please. We didn't mean for it to go this far. Let's talk. We're your parents. I replied with 6 words, you were. Now you're just strangers. Ryan sent a desperate letter full of excuses, blaming pressure, confusion, family. I sent it back with a sticky note, check the news, sweetheart. That morning, his startup was under investigation, thanks to a tip from me. Fake contracts, fake investors. His empire was crumbling. Then I dropped my final move, a video. They tried to cancel my wedding. But I canceled their lies. I didn't lose a husband. I found me. 50 million views in 48 hours. As the internet exploded, I boarded a flight to Milan, no tears, no regrets. At the airport, Luca Ferraro, creative director of a top luxury brand, shook my hand. Welcome, Stella. The city can't stop talking about you. Good, I smiled. They're just getting started. At my fashion show, the final design wasn't white. It was a blood red wedding dress, bold, sharp, stitched in gold with one word, free. Back home? Silence. My parents vanished from social circles. Ryan lost everything. But I didn't celebrate, because my win wasn't their downfall. It was me, standing on my own. That night, I posted one last video over the Milan skyline. Let them doubt you. Let them leave. One day, they'll remember your name, not as someone they controlled, but as someone they never saw coming. And just like that, their version of me ended. Mine had only begun.